All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to True Crime Loser. I hope you're doing well. So, today we are going to go over Letecia Stauch's totally insane TV interview that she did. It is one for the books, and most people, I think, probably have been following this so closely that they don't need any background info, but for the few people that don't, I'm going to hammer through a quick little timeline just to get everyone on the same page, and then we'll hit the interview. So on January 27th, Letecia Stauch reported her 11-year-old stepson Gannon Stauch missing. And the story was they had gone on a hike all day, and then they had gotten home, and then Gannon had left, like afternoon time, had left to go to a friend's house and never come back. That was January 27th. 3 days later, on January 30th, it officially gets deemed a missing persons case. At this point, Letecia started really taking it hard online, and also a lot of pressure from the detectives. She was the last person to see him, so everybody online is like, hey, Letecia, what's the story? Come on, what's going on with this one? Help us out. And also, she gets yanked in for an interrogation, which she says in the interview that they pulled her in and were twisting her words. And the way that they were asking the questions made her feel uncomfortable, okay? And that some of the vocabulary they were using was just too much for her. And she wanted a lawyer to help her with the vocabulary. Some of the questions, I think, were tough, like, where's Gannon? And do you know anything? Some of that vocabulary is hard. And so, like I said, she's taking it hard online, and she does not have the ability to say, yeah, of course, people are going to say things online, but this is a very, people just want Gannon to be found. I'm the last one to, that saw him. I understand. Let's just do what's right for Gannon. She does not go that route at all. She uses this interview to essentially at the beginning say, I can't talk about Gannon, but what I can talk about is how mean everyone's being to me, how everyone is twisting my words and making me feel uncomfortable. And she has this, it's almost like a Jerry Springer trash about her where she's like, and when he does come back, I am just ecstatic how everyone is going to have to give me a sincere apology. She says that like 3 different times, like she doesn't say like we just can't wait for Gannon to come back or what, to see that he's safe and get on with our lives. It's all once he's back, all these bitches online have to apologize to me. It's like, all right, Letecia. So on February 3rd, she does the notorious TV interview. On February 4th, her neighbor, just like the Chris Watts case, decides, you know what, the search for Gannon is intensifying. He's not turning up. I'm going to just look at my security camera footage and see if I can see anything. And sure enough, totally different time than Letecia was blabbing to the detectives and everyone out. I think around 10 a.m. I'm not totally positive on that, but I think around 10 a.m. it shows Letecia and Gannon walk out to her car, then both get in, and then a number of hours later, she comes back and Gannon is nowhere to be found. The neighbor goes, whoa, I think I got something, shows Gannon's father, who immediately breaks down crying and says she lied. She lied about the time. He didn't go to friend's house. On March 2nd, Letecia was arrested. On March 20th, so 9-10 days ago, Gannon's body was found off a bridge in Florida. How he got to Florida is totally insane, but that's a whole different episode. All right, so let's go over this TV interview that she did. Like I said, I think the whole goal was this interview was just to respond to the Facebook messages and people saying, Letecia, what happened? We think you did it. This is crazy. This is her emotional response. Instead of like sitting there and typing it out on Facebook, like, look, she just decided to have the news film it. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice, or you did notice if you've seen it, or if you do watch it, is that she does the whole interview with her back facing the camera. I guess it was her strategy of, I don't want people to see my face, because everyone's just twisting my words and making me feel uncomfortable, and the community should just come together. That's what she keeps saying. She keeps saying, instead of just, saying where's Gannon and that they think Gannon's dead, maybe we should just all come together and apologize to me. That's kind of her overall. And so I guess her strategy to look less suspicious was she wanted her back facing the camera. So it's the camera guy and then her back, and then the guy doing the interview facing, so she's sandwiched in between the camera guy and the guy giving the interview. So you can see the guy giving the interview's face, the back of her head, and then the beautiful Colorado background. It's pretty much, I think it's probably an hour away from where the Chris Watts nightmare happened, but it's pretty much the same background, the same type of neighborhood. It's pretty eerie. So she's facing the wrong way. If I thought it'd be funny, if I was the cameraman, I would have just pretended that I didn't know that that's the way they were doing it, and it would have been funny to go, like holding the camera, like, ma'am, sorry, excuse me, I think you're facing the wrong way. And then she would have probably been annoyed and been like, yeah, this is how we're doing it. I don't want people to see my face. And then to go, all right, so you just want me to film the back of your head? And she would have been like, yes, I don't want, and like, okay, cool, I'm all good. Just to let her hear how absurd the whole thing is. So she's facing the wrong way. And it starts out with, I thought the interviewer did good. It turns into a little bit of a interrogation. We probably won't ever see the real interrogation, which I would love to, but this satisfies a little bit of it. So he goes, okay, it starts very simple. Letecia, you're the last person to see him, right? And she goes, correct. And he goes, okay, well, what did you see? And she goes, well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I thought it would have been funny to be like, all right, well, that's the end of the interview. Thanks, Letecia. Have fun. And then they put it on TV with her just being like, I cannot talk about anything that has to do with the case. And then it just ends. So she's like, can't talk about anything that has to do with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make false accusations. And so, like I said, already she's talking about some community and how everyone just needs to come together and have faith. And it's like, yeah, that's great, Letecia. We are coming together. All these Facebook groups and people asking you, where's Gannon? That is the community coming together. And then she's saying that, she's getting all these death threats and that everybody's saying that she is missing and she's not helping. And, it gets a little Jerry Springer-y. She's going, well, the ex-wife is living in the house and I was told I can't, she got booted out of the house, obviously. I'm sure the husband was just like, all right, Letecia, I saw the neighbor's footage. Get out. Yep, gone, go. So she's like, of course, everyone thinks I should be here, but I'm not even allowed to be at the house, and I'm not. And then she goes, and then I was told I wasn't complying by the detectives. Is it okay if I elaborate on that? So you would think at the beginning of this interview, when it's like, okay, Letecia, this 11-year-old boy is missing. You were the last person to see him. What did you see? You would think an answer would be like, okay, he was wearing a striped shirt and jeans. He took his bike with him. He always rides his bike on this trail when he goes to his friend's house next to some stream. The friends that he hangs out, they always play video games. I think that he loves to eat here at fast food. You would try to give all the information. He recently died, whatever you could, any information to help find this missing son. But she just goes, well, you know what? I'm actually not allowed to talk about anything about the case, but what I would more so be willing to talk about is how this community needs to come together and stop telling me that I'm missing and and then she goes into and also I was told I wasn't complying with the police. Is it okay if I elaborate on that? And the interviewer just goes, please do. And that's when she gets into they brought me in. They twisted my words. I asked for some water. They said I couldn't leave. And then she says that and remember, the whole absurdity of this, the whole time is the camera is just pointing at the back of her head. And so she's saying that the detectives made me feel uncomfortable with their words and with the questions and the vocabulary. I thought I needed a lawyer because the vocabulary was hard. And the interviewer's like, all right. And then the interviewer brings up, and he's kind of playing on her side at this point, and a little bit throughout too. I think probably just to keep her talking, or maybe he was thinking, well, if she doesn't come out as guilty, I don't want to be the interviewer that badgered her the whole time. So he, in a way of like, man, it must be hard, all of the things that are saying online. And she's like, yeah, I read one comment where they were saying that I pushed him off the hike. And, that's just not true. And so it's like, okay, Letecia, now you are responding to individual comments that you received on Facebook on the news now. All right? What are you talking about? Where is Gannon? And then she takes a shot at Gannon's biological mother. So she's like, that's just not true. I have taken care of Gannon for 2 years because his mother didn't want to do it. It's like, okay, well, now this is just an official Jerry Springer episode. You're facing the wrong direction, taking a shot at Gannon's mother and saying that she just didn't want to take care of her son. And then she said, I would never, never, ever hurt this child. Never, never, ever hurt this child. Isn't that what Chris Watts would always say too? I would never hurt these kids or this child. I would never hurt Gannon. Gannon was my bud. I could never hurt Gannon. I would never, never, ever hurt this child. Okay, Letecia. And then she talks about how detectives held her at gunpoint to get the keys. They wanted, I think, to search her daughter's car, and so they not ambushed them, but caught him out and about and put her daughter in handcuffs to get the keys to look at the car. So she's saying, my daughter, who's 17, who served our country, who has never committed a crime in her whole life, she's like, we couldn't come back to the house because, I was kicked out because, I most likely murdered Gannon. So I was kicked out of the house. Everyone's twisting my words and making me feel uncomfortable. So we couldn't go back to the house to get clothes. So my daughter was out buying underwear. Rusty. She was out buying underwear and these cops just came over and just took her keys. It's just like, I'm the victim. I'm not talking about Gannon. I'm the victim. I'm uncomfortable. Let's see. And then she starts talking about the rumors. Oh, the rumors. She goes, I've heard probably 20 different ways of conspiracies that people have, and they must watch a lot of law shows. It's like, yes, Letecia, we watch a lot of law shows. You don't even know. And she was like, they must, it's all conspiracy theories. They must watch a lot of law shows because they have theories on how Gannon is dead. And that's what they keep saying. Why are they saying that? I'm like, why are you saying Gannon is dead? He's not dead. And that's when the interviewer's kind of just like, all right. And then she goes, everyone thinks I'm missing. We have the same goal as you, as everybody else. We want to find Gannon, but people just don't see what we're doing. We're all searching. My family's searching. My aunt is searching. That's one of my favorite lines in the whole thing. My aunt is searching. It's like, okay, all right, everybody, take a deep breath and feel better. Letecia's aunt is searching. And it just cuts to her aunt, like, stumbling around in the woods, just being like, Gannon, are you here? As long as Letecia's aunt is searching, I think we're good. Have the FBI take a break. We got... And then the interviewer asked just a total savage question. He goes, and it starts with the tone of, I'm on your side, Letecia. Yeah. So he goes, how does it feel to not only have a missing child that you were in care of, but also to be blamed for it? And, you know, she obviously is just like, everybody's just mean to me. And she goes, this is when she gets into the, like, you know, when Gannon comes back, I am so ecstatic for everybody to give me an apology. She says this like 3 or 4 times. Even at the very end, they go, all right, they always at the end of these say, do you have a message for Gannon? And it almost is like an SNL ending to one of these interviews, because they go, do you have a message for Gannon? And she goes, Gannon, when you get home, or what is the exact, Gannon, she goes, Gannon, when you get here, you'll have to tell everybody on Facebook that I didn't do, you know, it like immediately, only like one word is actually what she would say to Gannon. She goes, Gannon, once you get here, you'll be able to tell everybody that they have to give me a sincere apology and everyone will feel bad for me. And it's like, that's really what you would say to Gannon if he's missing? But that, like I said, that's at the very end. And then then she starts getting into he was. They're like, tell us about Gannon. And she goes, he was, he was a nice guy, and he was this and was that. And it's all the past tense that you always see in these interviews. And then they get to the hike. And this is probably the most cringy part of the whole interview, because they start talking. The interviewer says, okay, so you guys go on this hike, and then you get back, and he was there after the hike, you know, basically. And she goes, yes, my daughter saw him that night after the hike. Is it okay if she comes into the interview? And he's like, yeah, of course. And then she pretty much just... It's like, Letecia, if you were going to have your daughter lie for you, you got to set up the plan before the camera is filming. So you just hear Letecia go, hey, I need Harley, her daughter. I need Harley. Hey, Harley, you need to tell him that you got off work. When you got off work, that you saw Gannon. You verify that Gannon was home when you got off work. Like, she totally just explains to her exactly, and she thinks she's so slick the way she's doing it. It's like, Letecia, anyone can just hear what you're doing. It's not a big... And so the daughter comes over and goes, what do you want me to say? You just want me to say yes? And she goes, no, just tell the truth. Tell him that when you got home from work, you can verify that Gannon was here. And then the daughter just goes, when I got home from work, I can verify that Gannon was there. Okay. And then the daughter's gone. Just answer questions, so come. And then she again is going into the, like, everybody's being mean to me. Everyone thought I was missing and not helping. And then this is also one of my favorite lines of the whole interview. She goes, I think a lot of people can see I'm not missing. I think a lot of people can see that I'm not missing. And then she does one more big, we as a community should all just come together and stop the accusations and stop twisting my words and just wait till the end, she says. Let's just wait till the end and see what happens. And when Gannon comes back, it will be good for a lot of reasons, but the most important reason is he'll be able to tell everyone what happened, and everyone will have to be nice and sorry and apologize to me. And then it ends, like I said, with the interviewer being like, okay, well, do you want to say anything to Gannon? And she goes into well, everyone's going to have to sincerely apologize to me. And it ends with her saying, including my husband. And like I said, just a little short month later, she was arrested and charged with murder of like a child under 12 that trusted her, just all of the added parts of murder that make it really horrible. Tampering with a corpse, the whole 9 yards. And like I said, they found poor Gannon in Florida somehow. So I really hope they release. The tough one about this whole case is law enforcement have been really, really, they haven't released pretty much any information that they have. And so, like, I would love to, how'd he get to Florida? Or the interrogation. Let's check that out. But they've held a lot against their chest, I guess. But anyway, check out the interview. I'll put it in the description. Get ready to stare at the back of her head for 10 minutes. And I hope you're doing well. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Why? Stiving why? Last question. I think everyone can see I'm not missing. Thank you.